You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife.
The secret no one was supposed to say out loud. Stop whatever you're doing, because what I'm about to tell you makes every political drama, every TPUSA meltdown, and every leaked donor email look like preschool nap time. A TPUSA whistleblower just leaked allegations that Mikey McCoy, yes, the golden boy, Charlie Kirk's shadow, the guy who suddenly appeared everywhere overnight, was secretly having an affair with another male member inside TPUSA. But here's the plot twist nobody wants to talk about. Everyone allegedly knew except Charlie, and the lengths people went to keep him in the dark. Oh, buckle up, because this isn't gossip. This is a cover-up with choreography. The golden boy who never stopped smiling. Before this scandal blew open, Mikey McCoy wasn't just the golden boy. He was the golden retriever of TPUSA, always smiling, always nodding, always popping into frame like he was auditioning for a Chick-fil-A commercial. If Charlie breathed, Mikey was already 2 steps behind him holding the metaphorical oxygen tank. He had the energy of a kid who drank 6 Capri Suns before 8 a.m. Always ready, always cheerful, always suspiciously perfect. People outside the organization adored him. The press, donors, the interns, even the aunties in the front row wearing I America sweaters. Mikey was branded as the future, the bright, polished, camera-ready apprentice handpicked by Charlie himself. He gave speeches, he shook hands, he smiled like his teeth had a sponsorship deal. But inside TPUSA, oh, the insiders saw everything, and behind that megawatt smile was a kid who somehow had access to rooms interns weren't even supposed to know existed. Private meetings, Mikey was there. Donor dinners, Mikey had a seat. Sensitive briefings, Mikey was leaning in like, so true, bestie. Staffers were whispering, why does he get this treatment? While leadership acted like Mikey was the political version of Harry Potter. He's special, don't ask questions. And the strangest part, Mikey didn't just smile, he floated like someone who knew a secret that made walking feel optional. That unnerving, extra bouncy step, that wasn't happiness, that was confidence. Confidence only someone carrying a massive nuclear-grade secret would have. The kind of secret that makes you walk a little lighter, because everyone else is walking on eggshells around you. Because the moment you learn who Mikey was allegedly seeing in secret, everything else starts making uncomfortable sense. The secret affair and the inner circle that panicked inside TPUSA, the whispers about Mikey's secret affair didn't explode all at once. They slowly seeped through the cracks like steam from a pressure cooker that nobody wants to touch. At first, staffers thought the special treatment was just favoritism, but once people connected the dots, the late night calls, the closed door conversations, the mysterious work trips that didn't match the calendar, the inner circle realized they weren't dealing with a minor HR hiccup. They were dealing with a nuclear-grade scandal attached to the organization's most polished prodigy, the kind of scandal that could unravel the brand, the donors, the messaging, and every carefully crafted marketing campaign that screamed family values. Suddenly, everyone in leadership was sweating harder than a politician taking a lie detector test. That's when the real panic set in. Instead of addressing the issue, leadership did what powerful institutions do best. They slapped duct tape over the volcano and prayed it held. Talking points were distributed like party favors. Staffers were instructed to smile, nod, and act confused if anyone asked even the simplest question. Meetings were held where the phrase "protect the movement" was repeated more times than Mikey's own name. And while everyone else was spiraling into damage control chaos, Mikey walked around with the calmness of a man who knew nobody would dare touch him. Not with the secrets he held, not with the future he represented, and not with the scandal they were all working overtime to bury. That's when people realized the truth. Mikey wasn't just protected, he was powerful, and that made him more dangerous than anyone understood. But if you think that's messy, wait until you hear how far the inner circle allegedly went. Once Charlie started asking questions, when keeping Mikey's secret meant controlling Charlie. This is the part of the story where everything flips. Before this moment, the inner circle was panicking about how to protect Mikey. But then someone realized a terrifying truth. You can't protect Mikey unless you control Charlie. And that is where this entire scandal goes from messy office gossip to full-blown political thriller. Charlie was the face of the movement, the voice, the brand, the the mission statement with a pulse. If Charlie ever found out who Mikey was allegedly involved with, if Charlie discovered that the golden boy being groomed as the future had a secret that could torpedo the organization, the whole empire would collapse faster than a politician's morals during election season. So the inner circle did what panicked power structures always do. They closed ranks, they shut doors, they controlled information. Suddenly Charlie didn't get the full briefings anymore. Suddenly certain messages got lost. Suddenly certain people weren't allowed around him unless the right handlers were in the room. It was like watching a royal court slowly isolate the king for his own good. Emails were rerouted, meetings were filtered, talking points were crafted like they were handling a hostage negotiation. And the wildest part, Mikey never had to say a word. The more leadership hid from Charlie, the more it became clear that the secret wasn't just explosive, it was radioactive. One wrong conversation, one slip, one little moment of honesty, and everything they'd built would detonate. So they didn't just hide the secret, they hid the secret from Charlie. Imagine that. The founder, the face, the guy whose name is on the merch, being kept out of his own organization's truth like a husband being lied to about a surprise party. Except the surprise is treason. And while all this was happening, Mikey kept smiling. Mikey kept traveling. Mikey kept getting opportunities lined up like the red carpet was paved just for him. Because protecting Mikey meant managing Charlie, and managing Charlie meant rewriting reality. And once an organization starts doing that, oh, sweetheart, whoa, that's when the cracks start showing. Because then came the clip. The moment the entire internet started asking, why did Mikey react like that? The phone call that looked nothing like shock. When the footage of the shooting hit the internet, viewers expected chaos. People screaming, panicking, breaking down. What they didn't expect was Mikey McCoy casually lifting his phone like he just got a reminder about his dentist appointment. While everyone else was oscillating between horror and disbelief, Mikey turned, walked away, and dialed with the calm energy of a man returning an Amazon package. And that's when people started asking questions, because shock doesn't look coordinated, shock doesn't look smooth, shock definitely doesn't look like someone who already knew what step 2 was supposed to be. But Mikey's reaction? It had "I've rehearsed this in the mirror" energy. And in political scandals, the moment something looks rehearsed, it stops looking innocent. Then the contradictions hit like dominoes falling in slow motion. Erica said he called her first. Mikey's dad said he called him first. The producer said he didn't call anyone at all. It turned into the messiest game of telephone in American conservative history. And the phone wasn't even on speaker. As more people slowed down the footage, zoomed in, analyzed frames like they were auditioning for CSI YouTube edition, the narrative started to unravel. The calm walk, the instant phone lift, the complete absence of panic. Suddenly, the phone call wasn't just a call, it was a clue, a flag, a moment where the mask slipped just long enough to make everyone wonder, was this shock or was this choreography? And just like that, scene 4 became the moment everything stopped adding up and started falling apart. But the real chaos didn't start until people realized Mikey wasn't just reacting strangely, he was being pushed into the spotlight. The suspiciously fast PR makeover, when the dust settled and people were still trying to remember how to breathe again, Mikey McCoy was already halfway through his PR tour. While the rest of the nation was frozen in shock, Mikey seemed to have discovered a magical fast-acting grief to branding pipeline. Suddenly, he wasn't just Charlie's assistant, he was the new polished face of the movement, delivering speeches with flawless lighting and crisp audio like he had a film crew on standby. Social media started noticing how fast everything rolled out. Tribute videos, heartfelt monologues, perfectly composed photos of Mikey staring off dramatically like he was on the poster for a Christian political K-drama. And the question swirling around the internet became, how on earth did all of this get filmed, edited, approved, and posted before half of us even knew what happened? Then came the domino effect. Once people noticed the speed, they noticed the coordination, the curated captions, the glowing spotlights, the sudden shift from Charlie's helper to Charlie's heir. It was the kind of transformation that usually takes months of planning, not hours. Suspense turned into suspicion, suspicion turned into online investigation, and suddenly everyone agreed this wasn't a PR response, this was a PR rollout. The kind that looks less like grief and more like a press release that had been sitting in a Google Drive folder labeled "In case of emergency, promote Mikey." And once viewers started realizing how slick the whole transition looked, the story stopped feeling tragic and started feeling staged. And if the secret relationship ever gets confirmed, woo, that's when every lie snaps perfectly into place. The whistleblower's final blow. Every scandal scandal has that moment. The moment where someone inside finally says, "I've seen enough." And in the Turning Point saga, that moment didn't just arrive quietly. It detonated like someone pulled the fire alarm in a room full of gasoline. The whistleblower wasn't some random intern or office assistant hunting TikTok clout. No, this was someone deep in the machinery, someone who had watched the whole operation from the front row. The secret meetings, the delete that Slack messages, the frantic rewrites of Mikey's timeline, the rehearsed talking points everyone somehow forgot at the same time. This was the person who heard the whispers behind closed doors and saw the panic every time Mikey's name came up in connection with that male staffer. And what finally broke them, it wasn't the affair, it wasn't even the cover-up, it was the hypocrisy. The way the leadership bent their own rules backwards like Olympic gymnasts to protect Mikey, while telling everyone else to walk in truth, embrace transparency, and honor the legacy. The whistleblower watched Turning Point spin the narrative like a malfunctioning carnival ride. Don't mention the affair, don't mention Charlie distancing himself, don't mention Mikey's sudden rise, and definitely don't mention who told us to keep quiet about all of this. So finally, they snapped. They loaded the receipts, they spilled the timeline, they named the people, and then they dropped the nuclear sentence that changed the entire internet's mood. Charlie didn't know because they made sure Charlie never would. That wasn't a leak, that was a public execution of the official narrative. And Turning Point? Oh, they panicked so hard you could practically hear their group chats melting. Silence. No counter statements, no explanations, not even a "we are looking into this," just silence. Because when someone drops the truth with timestamps, screenshots, and eyewitness accounts, the room gets very, very quiet. Where everything TPUSA tried to hold together finally snapped like a cheap Walmart folding chair under too much pressure. Because once the whistleblower detonated the truth bomb, the internet did what the internet does best. It turned into a forensic crime lab powered by caffeine, chaos, and conspiracy theories. Suddenly, every clip of Mikey was being dissected like frog anatomy class. People were replaying the shooting footage, zooming into facial expressions, analyzing timestamps, and comparing contradictory statements like they were investigating a bank heist. And the best part, every time they tugged at one thread, 5 more unraveled instantly. The official narrative wasn't just cracking, it was falling apart in 4K resolution. And TPUSA didn't help themselves either. The sudden PR rollout for Mikey, the conflicting statements about who called who, the visibly rehearsed interviews, the suspiciously synchronized messaging, it all started looking less like grief and more like a production. The internet smelled it instantly. People called out the Disney Channel level acting, the robotic timeline, and the "why is everybody smiling like they're running for class president" energy. By the time the dust settled, TPUSA was sitting in total silence, which ironically confirmed more guilt than any leaked email ever could. Scene 7 wasn't just a moment, it was the collapse. Loud, messy, and absolutely delicious for anyone watching from the outside. The question they can't escape, so now we're left with one question. What happens when the truth finally comes out? If the whistleblower is right, this isn't just a scandal, it's a calculated cover-up with political consequences. Secrets don't stay buried forever, and this one is already leaking. So what do you think? Was Mikey McCoy a protected golden boy with a secret? Was the inner circle running damage control on a level we've never seen? Or is there an even bigger motive under all this? Drop your theories below, because this saga is far from over. And hey, if this breakdown made your eyebrows hit the ceiling, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next chapter of this political soap opera. Because at this point, TPUSA isn't a movement, it's a full-blown reality show.